Yo, what's going on, boys? It's your man back for another figure review. And today, I know it is another Marvel Legends, and it is another classic Spider-Man figure. But today we have, I guess, casual Peter Parker. Definitely not Spider-Man. And I actually really do like this figure. The one problem I don't like about it, and you can probably already see it glaring, is these stupid goggles. They don't come off. This is permanent. Just to get that out of the way right now. But other than that, I actually really do like this figure. Not sure if it's reuse or not, but even with that, it's still good. I think it fits as nicely as a casual Peter Parker, and especially fits for early Spider-Man, the early ASM when he was working at the Bugle with Mr. Jonah over there. I think it is a very good representation for that character at the time. So, I do not have the box for this one, but it is pretty much the same thing as the Jonah one. It's just the classic blue, I guess, card packaging instead of a box. I kind of don't like the packaging, I already said it, but it looks kind of good. I just threw it away, though. I'm not going to save all of them. I only need the Jonah one, which is not even going to be here for long. Don't be looking for it. So, moving on. We'll go right into the paint sculpt on this guy, which I think the paint, there's barely any. But the places it is, it's all right. You know, on the belt buckle down here. The head, the eyes. I actually have some pretty decent eyes on mine, if the goggles weren't there. That's it for the paint. But the sculpt, I actually really do like the sculpt. I think there is some decent detail in it. It's nothing like a NECA figure where it would have all the heavy detail like socks on or with the pants underneath. But it looks pretty decent, especially for Marvel Legends. I think the detail is really nice in the sculpt. The jacket has a lot of good details. The I don't even know. I can't think of the word for the underside of the shirt, the bottom down here. The cuff of the jacket looks good though. All the wrinkles are looking decent. The back piece, it doesn't look the most realistic, but it still doesn't look that bad. The shirt underneath doesn't look bad. I think the cut messes with the sculpt pretty bad, but I think it's pretty good. The articulation doesn't get inhibited at all from this, so the plastic this is made out of is nice. The legs look pretty decent. The joint connects up here. It looks a little bit goofy, but the pants aren't bad. The sculpting is nice. I think the legs on this guy might be reuse. I'm not sure. Not that much into the Marvel Legends game. The shoes don't look too bad. I just wish there was a little bit of paint on them because they're literally just all white with nothing. And a big, unlike NECA here, instead of having socks sculpted in, you got the R and the L for the right and left foot on there. That's just some attention to detail right there. I think that looks really good. Oh, my light just died, which sucks. But I guess you still got to keep going. We just finished the detail part, so at least that's a plus. You can still kind of see the lighting's not the worst. But moving up to articulation now on this guy. I think the sculpt is decent, but the articulation is where it helps because he has really good articulation. He looks up. Ooh, if you get the joint working pretty decently. It looks a little gappy though. He looks down. Ooh, tight joint, but really good. He could look straight down, bury his chin to his chest, as most would say. Ooh. At the shoulder here, it goes up pretty far. It could go a little bit more, but the jacket kind of stops it. That's enough though. Doesn't need to go all the way. Nice rotation. There's a bicep swivel. Gets caught a little bit over and under there. Double jointed elbow. Gets a little bit stuck from the jacket again. Some of the sculpting does inhibit articulation. Oh, at the wrist here, there's just an up and down hinge. It actually works pretty good even with the cuff of the jacket. And of course, you got your rotation. The chest here, he's got that nice crunch forward, works pretty well. Let me fix his arm. And then the crunch back, it doesn't really go much farther than back than that, and it doesn't go far enough to really get stopped by the jacket, but it still works pretty decently. At the waist, he does have a swivel, cannot forget that. Kicks forward pretty decently far. I think this is where it kind of fits perfectly with the articulation because he is just a random suit body, but he can pull off them jumps and kicks like Spider-Man, so it kind of fits. He kicks out not that far. Wish it would be more, but that's kind of a problem with a lot of the Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures. They don't do enough with the out range on the legs. It's got a thigh swivel at the top, double jointed knee. That works pretty well. Doesn't look too bad either. You know, good as they can get. And then at the ankle here, there is no swivel, which sucks because his foot is kind of crooked, and it would have been nice to be able to just spin it around. And usually when companies do shoes like this, that part is a different separate piece, but not in this case. But the foot goes that far forward. Like the Jonah, you can get the foot piece to kind of go over the pants, and it can go back that far. And then, of course, you get a nice little pivot here going crazy. So the articulation on this guy is pretty good, and it's kind of what makes up for the, I guess, no paint and looking a little goofy. I think the articulation helps because it has that kind of Spider-Man in disguise feel to it. So moving over to accessories, this one kind of goes with it. We'll start with interchangeable heads. Oh, I'll move this guy out the way. Here is the Peter Parker Spider-Man, I guess kind of Spider Sense head, where it's half Spider-Man, half Peter Parker. This is the head that kind of makes that work. So if you can get him over here, just grip it. Put this one on. Gotta use that spider strength. You could be like, oh, I got my spider sense going off right now. And I think it looks pretty good. It fits decently for that. The only problem I have with this head, pulling it back off, is it seems a little bit unproportioned. Like his head seems kind of squished. Bring the other one in here to compare it to. I feel like it looks a little squished, a little thin compared to his normal head, which it really shouldn't be because it is the same dude. He should have, like, Spider-Man doesn't have a thinner head than Peter Parker. I don't think so, but it could be. That's the only problem I really have with this head, because other than that, the paint is pretty nice on it, on the webs for the spider head, and the Peter Parker face doesn't look bad either. And I think it does look pretty good on the body. Oof. That doesn't sound good, but it looks good on the body because then you could have him doing those acrobatic kind of things and it wouldn't look bad because he's Spider-Man. So for the last accessory he comes with, only a couple, but I think they're decent. He's got the nice little camera here. Now this one, compared to like the Marvel Select Spider-Man camera, which I should have taken out to compare it to, this one isn't as bad. The strap, it doesn't have a strap, so it can't come warped. And it's kind of more bricky. It looks a little more, I wouldn't say realistic, but cartoony to fit with the Peter Parker. As the other one, the Select Spider-Man, was kind of more realistic in a way, where it has a more realistic looking camera. This one's got that classic box. It's got the flash with the only paint in it. It looks pretty decent though, nice and clean, nice shiny silver. And this, with his only hand, he doesn't come with any interchangeable hands. It has the hand to grip the camera. Fits in nice, holds it really well. He doesn't let it go. It's not a loose fit, which works really good. And the way this hand is, it actually has an up and down hinge so that you can kind of get him snipe shotting. Ooh, hit the light. You can kind of get him snipe shotting it so that it looks like he's actually taking the flick instead of just kind of holding the camera. Which I think it's good. I'm glad they at least did that. They kind of gave him a little bit of special articulation so that it works with the accessories. And putting this other head back on. I think it's very nice. I do quite like this figure. It's not anything crazy. I got it on sale, not to brag. So that's the only reason I picked it up. But I think if you can get it at retail, it's definitely worth the price because you can just use this body. It doesn't even have to be a casual Peter Parker. You can really use it for anything, which I think just gives it more purpose, more use. You got some extra bonus points using it. So moving to the comparisons now, we're going to start with a couple of Spider-Man characters. We got the Green Goblin over here, just being disgusting. And then Mayfix Spider-Man, which this shows, maybe, you could say maybe the shoes is what's making Peter Parker a little bit taller. But the body could kind of fit, I could see it. That's the only problem is this is the only casual Peter Parker, I guess. Like there's no Mayfix casual Peter Parker or anything. So if you wanted to, you do like a transformation, I guess it would be, where he's you know, Peter Parker in one shot and then Spider-Man in the next. You'd have to use this guy with a better Spider-Man, which the Marvel Legends Spider-Man is not bad at all, but I don't think it's the best. I think Mayfix might be a little better. Don't need to start no controversies, but I just gotta say it. It doesn't look bad at all, though. I think you could get away with it easy, because if you know it's Peter Parker, it'll look great. And I think he does look good with the Green Goblin, too. He scales well with all these other Marvel Legends Spider-Man characters. So, we'll get these guys out of here. Let me not drop them. Stop, drop, and roll. So, bringing in some more Spider-Man-y characters. We got Mayfix Carnage. Should have taken him out of the pose. And we got Big Time Spider-Man. This, again, the Spider-Man, for some reason, is not the same height. I actually don't know if Big Time Spider-Man is Peter Parker. I don't remember. But he doesn't scale right, so if it is, that's bad. He doesn't scale bad with Carnage, though. The usual, I think Carnage should be taller, but more lanky. And I think it fits pretty decently. Let me just hold him up so he doesn't fall over. But I think it looks pretty good, and he scales pretty decently with all these other characters. So they went for a decent Spider-Man. Oh, height. Sorry, I just hit a back dive there. Now, a couple of more Spider-Man-y characters. We got the Ghost Rider and J. Jonah Jameson here. And it's like I said in the Jonah review, I think this is where the two of them look the best. With the Ghost Rider, too. The Ghost Rider kind of fits. I think they look really good together because this is the Daily Bugle setup. This is supposed to be, I'm pretty sure, the Daily Bugle setup because it has the Spider-Man with the stupid goggles. Jonah just fell. It's got the Spider-Man with the goggles, and Jonah owns the Daily Bugle. So I'm just putting two and two together. So I think it looks really good, and he does compare very well with the other guys too. I think the scale is pretty decent, not the worst. Oh, hit the light again. All right. So, I'll do a little bit of a final thoughts on this guy, which I think he's a really, really good figure. And especially if you like Spider-Man, if you're a Peter Parker fan, this is a great figure for that. Because it's a pretty decent representation of early Spider-Man. And if you like Spider-Man, of course you'll like early Spider-Man. So, thank you guys so much for watching. 100% recommend this figure. He's on sale at, I think it was Dorkside Toys. Don't know if it's still going on, but I got him for like 15 bucks. Tremendous deal. I don't know if it's still going on. But thank you for watching. The next review may or may not be the classic Marvel Legends, the Toy Biz Ghost Rider. I might be doing that. Tremendous figure. Or let me see, what else do we got? Ooh, a couple of Maximum Carnage figures I've been picking up. I might do a display video on that. I just got Dagger and Morbius. We're coming in clutch. We're almost done. But I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time when it's probably the Ghost Rider. And I hope you guys have a good one.